Thank you, Madam Chairwoman, and thank you, Chairman DeFazio and Ranking Member Davis and all the members for allowing us to testify here today. We appreciate it very much, giving us the courtesy of going first like this. We know you have a tremendous challenge trying to determine the policies that are necessary to try and ensure that the new industry of transportation network companies provides safe, efficient, and cost-effective solutions to both consumers and employees. It's hard to imagine that Uber and Lyft didn't actually show up here today. It's really very disrespectful of the committee, and it's a bad play on their part, I think. I'm here today with my colleague to talk about Sami's Law, which Congressman Smith and I have sponsored. I'd like to thank Congressman Smith for his leadership on this issue. He's done a lot of hard work here. Earlier this year, when news reports about the murder of Sami Josephson first came to light, a New Jersey friend of mine and a neighbor of the Josephsons contacted me to work on legislation to ensure that no other parent would experience this devastating loss in the way that the Josephsons did. I later discovered that Congressman Smith, who represents the Josephsons, was also working on this issue. Sami Josephson called for an Uber, entered the wrong car, and she was murdered. This Smith-Suozzi bill works to provide consumers with a level of safety before entering the vehicle. Our bill's safety provisions are common sense and easy to implement, including the following requirements for states. 1, require a scannable QR quick response code on the vehicle window that matches the QR code on your phone. And as proposed by the National Federation of the Blind, an audio personal authentication number in lieu of the QR code to make sure that this is the correct car before a passenger enters the vehicle. Require transportation network companies to have illuminated signs that are visible in both day and night and that are readable from 50 feet. 3, require TNC drivers to have both front and back license plates. Currently, 19 states require only one plate. And 4th, prohibit the sale of illuminated TNC signs and the display of such signs by individuals who are not drivers for a TNC company. Straightforward common sense. As we began researching this issue, I was surprised to learn that the transportation network companies, a relatively new business model, are regulated very differently across states and local borders. While some states and cities, such as New York City, have implemented rules such as creating a new license category for high volume for hire services, TNCs have been mostly left to create their own policies for preventing and tracking violence or abuse to their passengers. We've all heard about the horrific reports of assault and abuse incidents involving TNC passengers and drivers. That's why our bill also requires a GAO study on the prevalence of assault and abuse perpetrated on riders by TNC drivers of ride-hailing vehicles and on TNC drivers by passengers. This data will be instrumental in determining any other safety procedures that may be necessary to ensure the safety of everyone who uses a ride-sharing app. There's no way to describe the sadness and horror and pain that Sami's death caused her family or to her community. She lived a vibrant and loving life. She had her whole life ahead of her. She planned to study law and had hopes and dreams. We must do everything we can to prevent what happened to Sami and from so many others from happening to anyone else. Congress now has a chance to come together and enact a change which will protect people. I believe it's our duty to do all we can to protect our constituents. I urge the entire committee, Democrats and Republicans, to work together to try and pass a bill such as this as soon as possible. Thank you again for this opportunity to speak before you, and thank you for working with us on this issue.